There we go.
Wait, can you hear everything?
Yeah, I can.
I don't. Mine's not in.
That'll be one. You've joined us again, Ryan. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
As a YouTube creator,
Yeah.
you obviously have a lot of thoughts about the way YouTube is run.
Yes.
What's some things you think YouTube can improve on? Do you reckon?
It needs to branch out to other creators. And I'm not saying it because I'm a part of this part of the community. But the animation community. No, but I'm saying like, and not just in general. There's smaller YouTubers that do deserve more attention.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But in terms of animating, the amount of time that people put into it, the amount of time it takes to wait. I mean, you're editing twice when you think about it. You're editing as you go along with an animation, and then you're editing it all again to make sure it all flows well and putting in. If you didn't have any sound in the program, you got to add that sound in later and make sure it all works. And you put it on your channel with, for example, with me, 700 odd subscribers, and you get maybe. You barely even break 200 with it, or even 100 in some cases. That says to me that there's a problem with how these videos are being sent to people who want to see your videos. There's a reason people click the subscribe button. It's because they want to be alerted when you put out a new piece of content. So why does this system seem to have this sort of... Why does it
Do
seem
you know roughly how the algorithm works?
No, I haven't got a clue. That's the problem. Like, do you know...
I don't know explicitly either, but from what I hear from listening to other YouTubers talk, the algorithm is trying to optimize for watch time. It wants to direct you
sounds familiar to me,
longer videos.
Yeah.
So this is why big Let's Plays have really exploded. Big Let's Plays, long vlogs. Everyone's vlogs are now 20 minutes long. Animators who make a 30-second animation, a 1 minute 30 animation, that's not good for YouTube.
Why do you
they
think
want
I'm making
you for
that
20, 30 minutes. You know?
That big project thing, I'm aiming to make each part of it like half an hour each. So not only am I going to make this 30-minute thing because not only do I think it should be about 30 minutes, there's enough content in it to make it 30 minutes sort of an episodic thing, but at the same time, the algorithm would pick it up. I assume so. I'd like to assume so.
So, like, yeah, again, I don't work at Google, don't have intimate knowledge of the algorithm, but one of the reasons they say to split your content up by channels is because if people click on every single one of your videos, the algorithm is more likely to suggest them to you. So if you click on every single one of Ryan Sparks' videos, it's more likely to suggest more Ryan Sparks videos to you.
I get suggested on my videos all the time.
Whereas
you shouldn't be putting me in this. You shouldn't be suggesting my videos to me.
Whereas if you skip a video, it's less likely to suggest you someone from that. So if you make consistent content, it's more likely to do it that way. And if you don't click on it for a while, if you don't get clicked on for a while, then you're less likely to be. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle.
So
that's how
you've just
popular
said
YouTubers don't get popular.
You've just said if you upload consistent content, animators can't really do that.
No.
There's only one animator I know in Source Filmmaker who does that. It's because he has a massive backlog of animations. And even then, they're not long animations, they're small animations. But he uploads is it daily? I don't think it's daily. I think it might be weekly. It's either weekly or daily. If
and
he
that's
goes
like
daily,
the absolute limit for animators is like weekly content.
Yeah, like
any more than that.
Weeklies. I tried to do weekly at the start of the year. I got 3 videos, and they were good ones. I did 3, and then I was like, I can't do it. It's just too hard. You need a backlog. If you're an animator, you need a backlog. And I think it's only because I'm part of that community, and it's the part that I know the most. And I think that's why it only irks me so much. Vloggers and that. There's 2 types. Do you not know? There's 3 types, and I was going to talk to you about this because I think it's a really good thing. I love it. It's a new style that I've seen on YouTube, and I absolutely love it. I think it's genius.
What's that?
So I'll go through the others first. You got what I call vlogging that just doesn't matter, and it's people who not necessarily like what your old ones were, but I'm not a fan of the vlog style where people just sit and talk. I can't really connect. That's just me. Some people, I guess, would see it as they're sitting in a bedroom. I'm sitting in my bedroom. Oh, it's like we're in the same place, and I can listen to them. I get that.
You prefer the more, this is what I'm doing today. I'm going to this convention,
but
and I'm going to vlog the convention.
Have you not seen the really sort of in-depth edited,
You got any examples of?
2 people. There was that Casey Neistat.
He's really good.
That type of vlogging, I think, is brilliant. it just has a certain charm to it, and maybe it's just because I'm into the whole acting scene and that it appeals to me more in filmmaking. That another one is I've said to you before in that very first one we did, which was Bernie from Rooster Teeth. He started doing vlogs and he puts tons of effort into them. There's like drones flying over like cities and stuff. I love that because I've never been there. I've never been to like especially if it's like I've never been to this specific location. So when you do a drone shot of it, I get a lay of the land. I get to see where they live.
Yeah.
That environment. They don't just live in their bedroom, unless you're that type of person.
No, that sort
you
of
live out there.
I don't know. Like I don't know what wave of vlogging wrong, but yeah, you had the kid using a webcam in his bedroom. Then you had the professional-looking setup with lights and stuff. Now we're moving on to like the almost daily, or maybe not daily, but like short films where like they're producing a proper narrative piece of content. It's all edited together.
Yeah,
you've got graphics.
But at the same time,
effects.
I think that's another thing that's changed with YouTube as well. I heard another person say it. YouTube used to be about like when we were doing backyard wrestling stuff. We all did it. We all filmed it. And then you edited it, or Dave edited it, or I edited it a couple of times. So in a way, I guess we can't actually. Do you know what? I guess we kind of broke the rule in that regard. But I'm just gonna say,
it was always one-man crews.
People have editors now, and that's why you get daily vlogs in that. That person whose channel it is, you hold the camera, and you go, "Yep, this is my life. I'm doing it all. Okay, I've got all my footage. Here you go, editor. Here's the money." Or rather, afterwards, you edited it, and I can get started on the next one.
Yeah,
I could get started on the next one. Like I could. Like if I did vlogging and I paid you, I go, right, Steve, I've filmed all this there. I went up to London. I filmed all this. Here you go, take that. Right,
edit it
into for tomorrow as you usually do. You know,
that seems so baffling to me.
I'm going to go and record tomorrow's vlog as well. I'm going to record part of tomorrow's vlog. Maybe it will look different, but it's okay if I change my clothes. I have a shower and that. I change my hair a little bit. No one's going to know the difference.
That is so baffling to me that people can maybe not palm off not the right word, but pass off the editing to someone else. To me, as much as I dislike I don't dislike editing, but it's such a time-consuming, tedious process. But it is absolutely essential to getting the tone and the look and the aesthetic of the video that you want.
If you're not editing your video, then I'm going to lose even more of a connection. I feel, because then it's not really you. I've seen your life, but this is someone else's work now that I'm watching. I'm watching someone else who cut this together and put in all this effort. I want to know. I want to see their channel, not yours.
So much happens in the editing process. I mean, if you want an example of that, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Was you and I filmed a short film.
Yeah.
I did an edit of it. You did an edit of it.
Yeah.
It's vaguely the same story. But the shots we choose,
there's two
the way
different
we
tones
edit
to it.
Exactly. Yeah, two completely
I think
different
yours
tones.
yours was more sort of yours was the more horror sort of.
I can't even remember. Yeah,
I think yours was the more horror. Mine was there was more of a mystery to the situation, and it was more. I love that idea we had, and I wish we could take it further because I think we could make something really good out of it. It's like a really good idea for I think if we took that idea and we moved it forward, it would go into a storyline where it turned out that person wasn't the last person on Earth.
Yeah, that's where that was leading.
Let's do that subject in a minute. So the other style of vlogging is one that I've seen recently, which I absolutely love because it's creative. It's using that style, but as an actor and a filmmaker, I absolutely love it. I believe the term of it is called alternative vlogging, and it is basically people are vlogging, but it's a complete fake life.
That is very interesting.
But it's entertaining. I'm going to tell you a channel to watch.
I was going to say,
I'll tell you a channel.
You've got to give me a recommendation.
Sugar Pine 7 is a channel that I've started watching recently. They joined up with Rooster Teeth, and I was like, okay, I'm going to check out their stuff. At first, I didn't really get it, but I've never laughed so much watching YouTube videos in a long time.
I'm going to give that a watch.
It's just... Do you know what it is, right?
Try and explain one.
I believe Philip DeFranco had SourceFed.
Yeah.
And Steven Supdick, who I think that's his name, who was a part of it, who was one of the hosts for SourceFed. SourceFed gets cancelled and everything. Yeah. They all go off. And he's now made this Sugar Pine 7 with I think it might have been two people who worked at SourceFed. And it's literally about... The first season is about the three of them trying to make Sugar Pine 7. But it's improvised. It's literally balls to the wall. It's so hard to explain to you, but you can tell that the life that they're doing, like what they're showing you, it's not real. It's not how they really are. It's not how they really act. It's definitely a character that they're playing, but you don't mind because it's just entertaining. And there's more than one YouTuber who does it, and I think it's an amazing form of YouTube, which again, those two channels get a ton of attention from it, but I think it needs more attention. And I'd love to do something like that, but I can't.
Why can't you?
Because it can't be just me. I don't think I can create a fake life by just myself. I'd need like you guys in it.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't know if it would work, because I would pray that there would be a chemistry between everyone. Me and you have made short films before, so I feel like there would be some chemistry there. I feel like me and you can pull off an entertaining improv conversation. But the beauty thing of the whole Sugar Pine 7 thing is you can tell it's just pure improvisation because of how some of them are talking. You can tell some of them haven't got a clue what to say, but what they come out with is so just like out there. You don't care. You're like, it's just entertaining. Yeah. It just works because of the character they're playing. Like, I'm trying to think of an example, but there's so many good examples that Sugar Pine have done, and it's hard to remember exactly what they said. But they are filmmakers. Like it's vlogging, but with that extra sort of story and filmmaking touch.
They've had that experience on SourceFed of crafting stories and being funny. They're probably improv comedians on the side, because everyone in LA is apparently an improv comedian.
They almost treat
they're very used to
They almost treat it like a reality show as well. Like throughout it, Stephen always provides a narration throughout each episode. Like at one point, it will freeze frame on a person. I'll take Kib for example, who is like is almost treated like the idiot of the group in a way. I don't think he is an idiot though. He's just funny to me. And it's like there would be a point where it was like, oh no, I'll tell you what, latest episode, Stephen takes Kib and, as they call him, famous actor James Allen McHugh fishing. They always refer to him as famous actor.
With his full title, yeah.
But he's an actual actor who's like been in stuff and that. So like, and Steve and Kib are gonna go fishing, and they find James halfway the way there, but he's strat out drunk with like just a crate of beer, and then he ends up going with them on this fishing trip. And at one point they say something like, "We've been in the water for 20 minutes," and then at one point it cuts to later on, and then you hear Stephen's narration. He goes, "I was surprised that Kib would do this, even though we'd only been on the water for 8 minutes." Like, it just completely contradicts everything. But it's like, wait, what? 8 minutes? But a minute ago they said 20, and it just doesn't matter.
I'm really gonna have to look into that.
It's like,
that's good. That's good stuff.
There's just moments where Stephen's personality, like, you can tell as the narrator he's trying to keep that professional vibe, but then there's the odd clip in it where his narration suddenly gets all personal, like, he's wearing the same shirt as me. No, it doesn't matter. But it's just like, it's pure improv. The end of season one, suddenly it goes all dramatic and it gets really serious. And because someone gets killed. Like, one of the characters kills someone because they think that they were being cheated on, but they weren't being cheated on. And then, like, season 2 starts a couple of days later, like a week later. And at first it starts off all serious, and he's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean to kill him. I'm so sorry." And they're going to put the guy's body in the car, drive out to the desert, and set the car on fire and explode and blow it up. And they do that. They blow the car up, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And then afterwards, it suddenly just cuts back into the funny improv thing. They're like, "Oh my god, his body's right there. Why did you put him in the car?" And he's like, "Because I didn't get the Venmo." It's like, it doesn't make any sense. But it shifts from that serious tone that it left it on, and suddenly goes back to being ridiculous. And then suddenly they've all forgot it. They've all forgot that they killed someone. Or whenever they bring it up, he's like, "Oh, we killed him." "No, you killed him." No, we killed him. We all technically we killed him. It's literally a matter of like, technically we killed him because we're brothers. We're not even related. No, we're brothers. We killed him. Like, it's just pure improv, and I love it. I don't know if I could do it, but I'd love to try and do it. I don't know if our group could do it.
No, sort of two big vloggers. I want to, maybe if you haven't, not big vloggers, but CGP Grey is an educational YouTuber who makes lots of like stickmen animation videos. About big historical geographical topics. He's done one like vlog about a trip to Las Vegas, and it's like so fascinating because of how he tries to stay on British time while in Las Vegas. And it's sort of the vlog of how he tries to achieve that. That's really interesting.
So, yeah, if you put a twist in your vlog, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
If you spice it up a bit and just don't talk. Like, it's nice to see what you're doing with your life. You don't have to go too, obviously there's private things in that, but if you can show something, show it.
Yeah.
If it's okay, and if you're okay with it and everyone involved is comfortable with it, show it. But like, some things shouldn't be shown. and I don't want to see you not moving.
Yeah, there's another vlog I want to recommend to you. Last Week by Tomska
Oh yeah.
on his Dark Squidge channel, where he has like 2 people working for him at the Tomska YouTube,
Yeah.
and it's just them and how they make stuff and all the errands he goes on. He's got a little dog and whatever, and every week they have a subreddit and people submit sketches for them to like write and perform in the episode.
Yeah.
Which, look into that. It will be, yeah, you can like write a sketch and submit it to them and then they'll perform it and stuff.
That's
and
really cool.
Yeah.
I saw something similar on Facebook. It was a link to something, and it was trying to break the world record for the longest story or something. But it was a project you could get involved in, and it was basically like Bob goes for a walk, and then they get anyone around the world to write this next sentence, and it just carries on and on and on. I wrote like 200 sentences. You can do as many as you want. You don't have to just do one. You can write as many as you want, and if you don't like what you've got as a template, you can switch again. But it's like supposed to be like the world's biggest branching story. They must have already beaten the world record.
Must have done.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There was like times where it was like, suddenly Bob got bitten by a dog, and I was just like, and that dog was an alien from the planet Clark. And yeah, go on then. And then you just leave it to the next person. And then I think once it's done, they're going to open it all up, and you can literally just click through it and go through, which is going to be incredible.
How many clicks is that going to be? Cool.
I only want to go through one story. I don't really want to go through 10
every single one.
But I'd be really. I don't even remember half the stuff I wrote. I mean, I could have been an absolute dick and just gone. The sentence is on Amazon.com right now. I could have just put the link in.
Then he bought the.
Then he subscribed to the Ryan Spark. It could have just been that. You could write anything you want, and it fascinates me. And I need to find it again, but I thought it was a brilliant idea. I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love that creative stuff. Alternative vlogging and all that. It's just, if you can be creative with words, I love it. I mean, then again, half the stuff we've done, short film-wise, has been quite improvised.
Yeah, every time we've made one of those, there hasn't been a single script once.
I mean, there's been a baseline. There's been a line that we know that we need to follow.
This is roughly what we want to do, yeah.
We know what we want. We know... I mean, when we've done it, I've always sort of had an idea of how it's going to begin and how it's going to end. Like, when we did The Thief 2, I knew how I wanted it to begin. I wanted it to begin with the thief coming back here, just like in the first one, a very, very sort of exact replica of how it happened before. And then I wanted it to shift, but I wanted it to end the same way as the original Thief. I wanted it to end with Crazy running and the thief yelling from the window, as the roles reversed and going like. And then at the same time, we were going to tease all this me, myself, some guys stuff as well. We were doing that, and that didn't work out. And to be honest, I can't imagine. I don't know a scenario where it all would have worked out the way I wanted it to, because it was like you and the cameraman and everything, and we don't have that resource. Like, it's the stuff that I would love to really do in filmmaking wise, can't do. And it goes to the age old.
Don't you ever think about like trying to find people who can like make that happen, like reaching out to actors and filmmakers? But you'd feel an obligation to pay them.
I'd feel an obligation to pay them, and I'd feel bad if I couldn't pay them.
Yeah.
I can't pay them. I don't have that sort of not income, but I don't have that sort of money.
If the video isn't going to make you £20, you can't pay an actor £20.
I'd have to have absolute faith that I'm getting something out of it. Like, and that might sound like a weird way, but that's how it works. If you're not getting anything out of it, then to a degree you're sort of a little bit bummed out by it, and then you've wasted some money. Really, you've paid maybe brilliant talent who can use that money for what they are, and that's great, but. I'd prefer everyone to benefit as opposed to just like a couple of people. It's not quite fair that way. But what we have made, I feel it wasn't professional quality, but it was
no.
For the resources we had, I think they're quite well made. And the tricks that we managed to pull out, like to this day, I think the best shot I've ever recorded, or that's ever been recorded on my channel, is that shot of Crazy chucking that paper in the air and yelling, "Tell me! Tell me! Tell me!" I think it is one of the best shots we've ever done.
Yeah, that's an iconic That's an iconic one.
I think that is one of I wouldn't say the Creed videos are
I think-
iconic moments in my channel. I think the Crazy Tell Me is one of the most
Yeah.
iconic moments in my YouTube.
It's such a good example of like comedic shit. Yeah, it's so funny.
Comedic improv,
Yeah,
alternative vlogging.
yeah.
Like, there's a baseline for it. Obviously, something has inspired it. I don't think we inspired it at all.
No, definitely not.
But there's an element of it in there.
Mm.
There's an element like that whole conversation, both times, the conversations between both of them are completely improvised. There was no script. We knew how the scene was going to begin. We knew how the scene was going to end.
That's what a lot of improv's based on, though. Is
Yeah.
like, this is your starting point. You want to end here.
I think with
go
things,
improvise.
with things like Sugar Pine though, there is no end. You just cut it randomly. Like,
Right. So next week we need to start here. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, I don't think then there's no episode where you can like look at the ending and then look at the beginning of the next episode and go, oh, it connects back. It doesn't. It's just entertaining. Is there any part of you that you think wants to do some form of filmmaking again, or do you think that ship has sailed and it's podcast? There's no really a word I can use for it, or is it just sort of like a podcast sort of view now?
I'm not opposed to doing filmmaking stuff again,
Yeah,
but like you brought up, you're the only actor I know.
yeah.
I would feel bad about hiring other ones and not paying them.
There are people.
I don't have tons of I try to think of ideas that fit within that style. So I was like, all the things I have down, written down that I'd want. No, there are a couple more like complex projects that would require more and more people. But I mean, it's coming up to October, Ryan.
So, I was generally lost for a minute. I was like, "What's he mean?"
No, I mean, we're like,
I'd love to make it.
What we initially wrote for our Halloween sequel was far too complex.
It was very much. I think we took what like
we blew it into a million pieces.
I think we didn't blow it into a million pieces, but we went to a point where I think we were trying to satisfy what we like when we really should have been trying to think about. It became the story of it became a very, very silly version of what Halloween is. Whereas the first one, even though it's incredibly amateur and we didn't know what we were doing, for what it is based around a horror.
Yeah, it's like weird comedy horror.
There's there's a comedy element to it, but there is at the bottom of it there's a horror. I'll talk about an idea that I had that I wanted to involve you in, and I wanted to involve some other people in as well, that I could have done if I was still in college maybe. And it was this idea I had. No one take this. This is copyright me. And I think I might be able to animate it as well.
Right.
And it was going to be a whole first person deal.
Interesting.
I wanted to call it Time No See. And I wanted it to involve time. But I also wanted time to relate to what one sees with one's eyes. And what I had, an idea in my head, it started with an image. I went, what if I woke up one morning and I went down the stairs and I have a small toilet. I have a really small toilet. There's no windows in there or anything. And so it's broad daylight. It's 10 o'clock, say 10 o'clock in the morning, broad daylight shining down, nice summer's day, walking in, go to the toilet, do your business. That door is shut the entire time. Got the camera on. And then it was going to involve I wanted watches to be a very big focal point on it as well, specifically watches of characters and that as well. And when he opens the door and he comes out after doing his business, it's still 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's pitch black outside. It's almost like it's nighttime. So in a way, I was like, okay, so time hasn't moved, but his perception has suddenly changed. And it was going to be a whole horror thing. There was going to be something that had happened.
That is fascinating.
And I was going to have there was a figure outside in a hood. And when he touched the figure, there was that whole the woods nearby here, and he was going to appear there. And he hasn't got a clue what's going on. It's still pitch black, but there was going to be times where it would suddenly shift, and it would be broad daylight again. It'd be the normal time of day. Then something would happen, and some sort of subtle change would happen, and then boom, it's night. It looks like it's night, but it's not. It's still morning. The perception of your view of time has just changed, and maybe to a degree, it was this hooded figure. Maybe it was their perception of time, and it was showing him. But I couldn't grasp a really grand story out of it.
That is, yeah, that's not character driven. That's sort of like You have the makings of a really good story, but at the moment all you have is like an idea and a setting.
It was
really.
an idea and a setting, and I was trying to come up with I was like, the main character is definitely important. This plot has to involve him somehow. There's something that's happened to him that is causing this to happen. There's something that's happened to maybe someone he knows. That hooded figure is probably someone he knows, and I wanted to have them as well. Their faces would be pure white. I don't know why, just look cool. If you're dressed in all black and white face and maybe illuminated a little bit, I just think it looks cool. Sometimes that's what I go with when I write stuff. Oh, it looks cool, I'm going to do it. That was half the Creed stuff that I wrote. It sounds cool and it would look cool, so I'm going to do it. Not possible, but it would look cool.
Another idea of yours that is like really quite
it's complex.
It's complex.
And at this point,
you don't do simple
especially
ideas.
from what you're doing with that damn series, it is never going to happen because I would not enjoy it as much because I know what the series is now. And even then, like, have you seen
what
any
series is that? What
Creed?
Oh,
Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Have you seen the new one?
Briefly.
Yeah,
It looks like a completely different game.
I was just looking. I was like, another year. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. I really was, and it was in a location I was really eager to see as well. It was Egypt because I remember back in the days when we were walking home from
that was one of
school,
people's always favourite
and
places to go.
that was the big thing because it was like, you know, the temples and all that. We were like, oh come on, Egypt, pyramid, obvious place for a temple hidden in plain sight.
Yeah,
a temple that has withstood time itself.
Yeah,
or maybe the pyramids were built as a fortress for the temple that's underneath. It was an amazing idea, and then they really butchered what they had going. They had such potential. And I remember watching a panel with Nolan North, and he said about what the third game was supposed to be, what 3 was. It was supposed to be Desmond, and it was supposed to be modern. That was the original plan. And the guy who is the creator of Creed left during, I think, Revelations. And so then
that'll do it, yeah.
It's just a shame. That it goes back to something I said about passion and care. Creed used to feel like there was actual passion and care put into it. Even in Revelations, I don't think Revelations is as good as Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, but like moments with like Altair, I felt genuine passion and care. Like the first mission, that was like grid for grid. That was Messiah. That was exactly the same as the first game. And I was like, that's passion, that's care. It's exactly how I remember it. It's nostalgic. And the same with like Brotherhood. To this day, I think Brotherhood's the best one. I get why people think AC2 is the best one, but I think Brotherhood just improved on everything. That's the thing. I thought, like, Assassin's Creed 2, I got that for Christmas in 2009. I loved it.
2009.
Like, I played that all night. I think I got up to the bit where you met Mario, and I loved it. I was like, this is brilliant. And then Brotherhood came out. I remember when Brotherhood came out, I was like, oh my god, I need it now.
See, I think Brotherhood's the better game, but I think Creed 2 was so groundbreaking and its story so compelling, especially in comparison to the original
But I
Creed,
think that's the reason why
it sticks in my memory so much.
I think it's a sort of a, I guess in a way what you would say maybe games like some would say when The Legend of Zelda jumped to 3D. It's a sequel to something, but the sequel improved on so much. It's regarded as the outstanding product.
Yeah.
And anything afterwards can improve on what that did, but that one's still a big one because it made a massive jump. Like Zelda made the jump.
I don't think they've ever made a leap forward bigger than that, apart from maybe introducing boats.
Yeah.
Like other than that,
they had Zelda makes the jump with 2D. I think 2D had Link to the Past, which I think is the best Zelda game. I don't think Ocarina of Time is better than it, but because Ocarina of Time is the first big 3D Zelda game,
that's the one everyone
it's
remembers.
the groundbreaking one. It's the one that makes it the most sense. I think another series like with like maybe Sonic the Hedgehog, it actually sticks with the 2D ones. Sonic 1 is good, but there's too much platforming and it drifts away from what the point of it was, which is speed. 2 fixes that. And there's the whole risk and reward system where if you take a risk, you're going to be rewarded by a nice section of speed. It relates back to the product. And then, you know, I guess really games that like jump to 3D is when they've considered something like
3D,
Mario 64 as well is another big one that jumps to 3D. Metal Gear jumped to 3D and it was Metal Solid 1 is absolutely incredible. Even then, Metal Gear Solid 3, like PS2, it's just like when games make massive jumps and they actually change and there's passion and care put into them, I feel that's when it becomes groundbreaking. Even the new Zelda is probably going to be regarded as a groundbreaking achievement because it's just filled with stuff that's already in other games. But because it's something that series has never done before and it pulls it off, boom, automatic success.
Game of the year, groundbreaking.
And but like with Creed, like it was a year gap, and I was hoping that year gap would mean his passion, his care now. And I saw the first gameplay, and I was like, telepathically communicating with the eagle.
I'll give them that. Like it's completely different to Syndicate. Like it plays completely differently.
I haven't played Unity or Syndicate, so I don't really know how they play.
But I haven't played it. But like looking from the gameplay trailers of Origins, it looks completely different. It looks like it's controlling completely different. But maybe not in a good way.
Yeah.
Creed games always looked like Creed games, but now this just looks like third-player Far Cry.
Yeah,
You know,
I get what you mean.
It just looks like another open-world Ubisoft game. Like, do we need more of those, really?
It's really weird as well, because like I was looking at Origins, I was like, here's the thing, again, like we said about Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 1, I think we can agree, while it is a very good game for what it is and what it was back then, it was extremely repetitive. It was the same thing for hours. And 2 takes it all, gets rid of it all, and it absolutely improved it in every regard. But it kept the nature of what made Creed Creed. It was still about climbing buildings and going to a viewpoint. Except these buildings were bigger and better, and there was more to move around on because it was a new setting where we had learned so much more in terms of craftsmanship. The location as well, Italy, perfect.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely perfect idea. And, you know, I guess in their eyes back then, the next ideal step, because they started like really early in our history, then to the sort of the midpoint in our history, and then they would have gone to where we are now in history. And it probably would have been incredible. I don't think it would have been a bad game at all. I think it would have wrapped things up nicely.
Yeah. But they wanted to make too much money, so they're just keeping it going.
They had a gold mine. I think these days, if you're a creator, you need to put a ton of passion and care into what you're making.
Yeah.
If you don't, then it shows. It really shows. I've noticed it. I've said Sonic before. I've noticed it with Sonic. Is that Mania, the newest one that came out on August 15th, 2D game, it's made by fans who were hired by Sega. And as soon as I booted it up, I looked and I was like, I feel like I'm 6 years old again. And it was completely
because they just understand the product. It should be.
But they were making ROM hacks of it back at like the late 90s. They were making their own 2D Sonic games, and every time there was a trailer, every time they showed something, I'm sitting there going, I can't not have faith in it. It looks so true. It looks old, but it also looks new, and it reminds me of those good times I've had with the series. I look at the other game that they're making, which is coming out now on November 7th, which is Sonic Forces. And I'm looking at it and going, I don't see the same amount of passion and care in it. I see some passion in places, and I see some care in places, and those parts of the game look good. But then there's parts of it where it just doesn't. It just makes me go like, oh God, I don't want it to come out, and I don't want a reviewer to come out and go like, here we go, we're back to when this series was bad again. And because especially like there are series that you get attached to when you grow up. Like same thing with Doctor Who, actually, bringing that in quickly. I used to love Doctor Who. I think it's a good show. I think it's a good show still. But there's so many moments where now, like, it feels like when someone talks about it, it's a jab to the heart, and it makes you go, I really miss.
See, I haven't really connected with you on the whole Creed and Sonic things. One, because I don't completely hate Creed like you do, and I've never really been a fan.
I don't hate Creed.
No, but like you've lost.
I realise there's no passion and care in it anymore.
Yeah. And I've never really played Sonic, but that Doctor Who thing, I used to love Doctor Who so passionately. I don't want to blame it on Peter Capaldi.
I don't blame it on Peter Capaldi.
I just don't care anymore.
I think Capaldi's a terrific actor, and the more I watched of him, I haven't gone over the episodes. His final episode, the problem isn't the actor. An actor is given a script. I compare it to the same scenario as Anakin in the Star Wars series. People say, oh, Hayden Christensen was a terrible Anakin. The scripts for the prequels are a little bit weird, and they're very weird.
He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't perfect with what he was given. That's the best way to put it. With the script he was given, I think Hayden did a brilliant job. With everyone on that cast did a brilliant job with the scripts they were given. When it comes to Doctor Who, it's like... Haven't they got rid of old Moffat now?
Yeah.
There's a new writer.
No, Moffat is doing the Christmas special as well.
And then he's gone?
He's gone.
So one more
with Moffat.
One more Moffat. Okay. I might jump back in now.
I'll jump back in for.
I haven't watched Doctor Who since the end of the first Capaldi season.
I'm gonna watch.
I was like, I've had enough.
I'm gonna watch it because this is when he changes.
Has he not? I'm confused.
He didn't change at the end of the last episode.
Really?
No, he didn't. He refused to. Do you not know how it ended?
I haven't watched Doctor Who. I just saw
do you want me to tell
Jodie
you?
Whittaker or whatever it was.
Should I tell you?
She's the new Doctor. Yeah, go on. Then.
Yeah. So it was the whole episode on the spaceship, which was going towards a black hole. Is that the front of the ship and the back of the ship are in two different time zones, they're in two different times because the black hole is obviously how they work. They stretch things out, and it's actually stretching the ship. So the further you go down into the ship, I think the more past time you're going backwards through time if you go through the ship. If you're going down the ship, you're going backwards through time. If you're going up the ship, you're going forwards in time.
Right. Okay.
I honestly, I might have it the complete wrong way round.
That doesn't really matter. The specifics don't matter.
But it was the Cybermen, and it was John Sim coming back as the Master.
Come on.
But Missy was there as well.
Oh.
So it was kind of the whole like the poster for it was a parallel of that Day of the Doctor thing. So it had Peter Capaldi's Doctor in the middle, but it had John Sim and Missy in Missy's Masters and all that, like, back to back. And when John Sim popped up, it reminded me of the old days of Doctor Who, because he wasn't adapting to this new sort of look they were going for, which Moffat's going for. Straight back into that old Master character, still a bit insane, hasn't got the drum beat anymore, but you can tell he's still that insane Master. It still worked. He got the beard as well. He had that classic beard and everything. I loved it. I do think the Master's character got a bit ruined in it, because it kind of ended with Missy saying, no, it's time that we actually stood by the Doctor. And then John Sim's Master, because the Cybermen are below the ship, so they're progressing at apparently a faster time. They're progressing at a faster rate because they're further into the ship or something.
Okay.
So while the Doctor's building up defenses with this town, and this is why this is the part I didn't like it, is that they were showing that the Doctor was like, prepare to kill the Cybermen. I was like, there was a time when it came to killing the Cybermen, and I remember it was the subtlety of David Tennant's Doctor, is that he put that code in and he killed them all. But even the line where you see the Cyberman look at itself and it notices that it's a Cyberman, and he says it, he doesn't say it in a very calm way, he says it in a very serious way, and he says, I'm sorry. It's a very serious way, but I could feel that there was a tiny bit in there where it's like, he didn't want to do it, but there's no, it's that point where there's no choice. Whereas this Doctor was like, prepare to kill them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it, it's Capaldi's Doctor, but I feel that Capaldi's characteristics that he's put with the Doctor are his own, but I feel that the writing for the Doctor is Moffat. It's Moffat's Doctor, and it's not completely Peter's. Whereas I felt when it was Eccleston, he was given what he was given, but Eccleston turns that role into his. David Tennant turns that role into his. I think Matt Smith tried to really battle to make the role his. Because there are some scripts where I just don't enjoy the episode, but I think Matt is doing an incredible job. I think with Peter, it was Moffat really pushing and going, this is my Doctor.
Yeah.
And this is mine. It's the most overdramatic sort of death I've seen for the Doctor. You had David Tennant getting absorbing tons of radiation, absorbing the time vortex with Eccleston. Matt Smith was he basically did die of old age. That Doctor did die of old age and was given a whole new cycle. This one took explosion after explosion. He got shot by a Cyberman like 3 times. It didn't feel like I was watching the Doctor die. It felt like I was watching a hero fall, which is not what I look at I don't look at the Doctor as a hero. But going back to quickly on the Masters, Missy and the Master is like, she's like, I'm going to stand with the Doctor, and she stabs the Master. So it's kind of implied that he will become her. So they do a way that they can get rid of John Sim's Master and make it make sense that he becomes a woman. But I love this. I love this part of it, is that he gets in the elevator to escape, but before he does, he kills Missy. So effectively, the Master kills himself, which I thought was quite genius, because it's what John Sim said after. He says, "It's funny, isn't it, that I die by stabbing myself in my own back." And I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, that's clever, that's funny. But then I remember a line that was said in an earlier episode of Doctor Who, and I think something that's always been a characteristic of the Master, no matter what happens, the Master doesn't want to die, and he can't bring himself to do it. And it was like, there was a line David Tennant said, he said, because if you do that, you'll die, and I know that's something you can never do. And Moffat just took it and boom, it's out.
Here we are. Yeah.
It's just completely gone. Then obviously the Doctor's like, Bill became a Cyberman in the first part.
Oh no.
She became a Cyberman. I didn't care.
Okay.
I don't really like a character. No one take that as because she's gay. There's nothing wrong with that. Although, to be honest, that characteristic does feel a little bit shoehorned in. I feel like some TV shows do shoehorn in that thing because of the whole equality thing. There's nothing wrong with it, but I do feel like there are some series which are doing it more for the fact that they can appeal to that audience instead of doing it because it works for the series. It's more to appeal to a specific branch of an audience.
I disagree, but I'm not going to fight you on that one.
No, I don't think everything does it. There are some shows where I look at it and I go, okay, fine, that's fine. There's there was a show I watched called Day 5, which the world gets put into an apocalypse because if you fall asleep, you die.
Nice.
So Day 5 is that it's Day 5 and there are people who have been up awake for 5 days and they're trying to find a way. They're trying to find a place to sleep. They're trying to find out why everyone's going to sleep. And there's a character in it. And throughout the series, you're going like, oh, okay, she's cool. And then in I think it was the second to last episode, she is homosexual, and it's shown. And I didn't sit there. I was like, it doesn't feel like this character was made as that type of character to appeal to that type of audience. It just feels like that's naturally who the character is. And if you do it in that way, whereas when they were promoting Bill, they kind of straight up came out and went, she's gay. And I was like, okay. And there was a couple of other times when I saw her blotting around, she's gay. Okay, is that her character?
Yeah. So she's not. You thought she wasn't developed enough, maybe beyond gay companion.
I thought that was kind of the message they were trying to send across. That's the message I got from it. I don't think it's a bad thing that she's gay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't like it when it's sort of like it's almost promoted as if it's like, by the way, she's gay. We did tell you that, didn't we? Like, yeah, you did. But quickly on how Doctor Who ended. So he took all that stuff from Bill was a Cyberman, and then there was this woman who appeared in the first episode who Bill fell in love with and stuff, and then magically turned her back into a human, warped her out of the Cyberman shell, and I was like, Harry Potter. It's like, and then Bill is now this water sort of monster like the other girl is, and then it's like, you can stay with the Doctor or you can come with me and see the world. And then like I swear to God they ended it with them kissing. Yeah. Just to throw it in there.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. And then it was like, okay, I'm going.
That's so funny because that's what the Doctor always says. You can stay here or you can come see the world.
Yeah.
/ the universe.
So then she goes and they're back in the TARDIS at this point, and he's lying down. He's completely out of it. It's like he's dead. And then he starts getting regeneration energy in that. But he sort of says every line that every past Doctor of the current series said. Like he briefly says he doesn't want to go. And then he says, times must change, and so must I, etc. I'll always remember when the Doctor was me. But Capaldi's Doctor is refusing to regenerate. Is at the end. He starts to regenerate, then he refuses to, and he sort of goes down. It's almost like regeneration is heat, and he ends up on this snow planet. And he puts his hands in the snow planet as if to like, if I cool down, if I live in the fridge, then I'll be absolutely fine. I'll never regenerate. And then there's a voice in the distance saying, I won't change. I don't want to. It's the whole idea is ludicrous. And he goes, who's there? And someone goes, and the other person goes, who's there? Who is that? And he says, I'm the Doctor. And the other person goes, oh, you're the Doctor. I don't think so. You might be a Doctor, but I am the Doctor. The original, you might say. And they've got David Bradley to play the first Doctor.
Oh, is that Filch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think Moffat is doing is because the episode where William Hartnell's Doctor regenerated is lost. It's one of the lost episodes. So he's going to try and apparently I can understand why the first Doctor would be like, I don't want to change. So apparently they're both going through regeneration, and I guess it's going to be about both of them coming to terms to accepting it. But it fits because I assuming that it's the 10th planet of the snow planet, which was where the final first Doctor adventure took place. But then there's like this massive gap in terms of footage
So confusing.
up until he regenerated and when he defeated the Cybermen. There's like a whole section that's lost, which I believe is just everyone goes back into the TARDIS and then he's like, oh, my body's wearing thin, and he dies, and then he becomes Patrick Thornton's second Doctor. But that part is lost. So I think Moffat is taking complete advantage of it. And apparently for the Christmas, they are frozen in a single moment in time. That's all I know.
For someone who doesn't really care about Doctor Who, that was an amazing
But that's
summary.
because I watched the finale.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, he's going to change. Because they were building it up as he's going to change at the end of the episode. So I was like, oh, we're
And
not
then
even...
he didn't.
Then he didn't. Then they announced Jodie Whittaker, which I don't have a problem with. But the bottom line, I'll end it with this then if you want. Bottom line is that I think YouTube does need to branch out to other creators because there is more talent out there.
Support your local small YouTuber.
Yeah, do support
Try
small
and reach
YouTubers.
out to small YouTubers. You know.
Like, no one is the same on the website.
No.
So just because one person's doing something you like doesn't mean there isn't someone else out there doing something else that you might like.
You always find someone to will fit your taste.
I didn't really know about alternative vlogging until I saw Sugar Plum
right
7.
now. And I didn't know about it till right this second.
And it's a purely fascinating thing that I never knew that I liked. It's that feeling of you never knew you wanted something until you saw it.
Yeah.
And I do think people should go out and watch other channels and watch other people create, because there's so much to see.
Speaking of small YouTubers, got anything to plug, Ryan?
You should subscribe to the Polaris podcast because it's smaller than me.
Significantly.
Significantly. No, but yeah, okay, fine. You can.
I'll say that everyone watches.
You can subscribe to the Ryan Spark on YouTube. You can go on my Twitter at Real Ryan Spark, even though I don't really tweet on there much. But I'll tweet if you follow me. I'll tweet more if you follow me. What else? I guess there's Descendants, which is on Amazon.com, which is $1.99 on ebook form, Kindle, and $6.99 on paperback, unless there's a deal on, in which case the Kindle edition may be free. So keep an eye out for that. Unless you have Kindle Unlimited, which I don't know what that is, but it means you get the book for free.
Wow. Okay.
So that's Descendants. There's the Patreon, which is, I believe, it's all in dollars, but I don't know if you can change it to pounds. But $1 is that you'll get a bunch of weekly updates and be put in the description of every video that I've made. $5 would be that you can request any image that you like of anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how let's just say how creative your mind is. I will make it for you, and I will put in every ounce of effort that I can into making it. It also goes as part of my portfolio. Maybe not the very, very creative ones. And $10 would be that you can request around a 10, slightly over, maybe slightly less, depending on what you want, animation made by me, because it adds to my portfolio, and I'm totally happy to make something that someone wants if that's what they want. And yeah, we're even talking about the really creative stuff on that end. Don't worry, I've practiced. Regrettably, I've practiced it, so I can do it. Yes, so you can do that.
Thank you.
I think that's it. I think that's all I need to plug.
You've been listening to Polaris, a show about who honestly knows at this point.
This was kind of just like a nice little ramble episode, just talking. It's just two guys talking.
Yeah. You can follow the show on Twitter at PolarisPod. You can subscribe to the show on YouTube. I don't have the URL for that, but search Polaris Podcast, you'll get there. You can find us on iTunes, subscribe and rate there, as well as on YouTube, subscribe and rate. If you have any questions or you want to be on Polaris Podcast, you can reach out to us at polarispodcast@gmail.com. Our website is polarispodcast.com. Ryan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As ever.
Thank you again.
Any wise wisdom words to finally completely close out this here podcast?
Be creative and passionate. Actually put care into what you make, because it does show.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
I'm very happy with how I ended that. What is your take